I decided to make a bow for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and so I decided to make a embellishment ring with stars. And the wood I'm using is mesquite. And here I am, I'm getting it on the lathe, and I'm going to work on shaping the bottom of it. And I'm sorry I had to turn off the sound because I had music playing in the background, and apparently the they did not like that. I didn't get to show a lot of the shaping of the bottom below because where I put my camera, unfortunately, you'll see in a minute, my head kept getting in the way. So I got the foot shaped on the bowl, and then now what I'm doing is I'm making it a concave where the edge is the only place it's touching is on the edge because it's easier to make the bowl flatter. And then I'm also working on the tenon, which will be used when I turn the bowl around to work on the inside. My mistake, I said tenon, it's really a mortise. This is a little thing that I got from Easy Wood Tools, and it's for the chuck, and so it tells me where the diameter for each set of jaws I have, and the space I need, and it just makes it go a little bit quicker, and then it takes the guesswork of did I make the mortise too big, too small, and then that way it's a good fit every time. And then I sanded from 100 grit to 600 grit. So what I'm doing now is I actually like to kind of dress the bottom of the bowl up, just to give it a little bit more finished look. So what I'm doing is I'm making little grooves. I'm going to do a burn on it, and then I'm also going to use it's the Robert Sorby texturing tool, which is going to make little spirals in it, and it just gives the bottom of the bowl, just a little bit more extra care and a little bit more. It just makes to me it seems like it makes it more finished. I'm sorry for the bouncing of the camera. It was mounted up ahead, but I had fans on. It was hot in the shop, and that's what's given that bouncing effect. This is Yorkshire grit. This is an abrasive paste that has like beeswax mineral oil, and so I'm going to use it to polish up the bottom, and I end up using it on the rest of the bowl as well. So now I'm reversing the bow blank, and I'm going to start working on the inside. and cutting the rim off for the embellishment ring that I'm going to put in. So one of the things you have to do when you're doing this type of bowl is you have to be able to mount the top of the ring that you take off. And so I'm putting another mortise in on the top of it, and here I am. I'm actually marking where I'm going to cut the rim off. So I'm using a parting tool, and I'm going to go as deep as I can with it, and then I'm going to use just a handsaw after that to finish out cutting that little piece off. And again, I apologize for there's not being any sound. I had music playing in the background, and it wouldn't allow me to play the sound. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to use it's an 1/8 inch um, metal that I'm going to make the ring out of, and what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting the groove for that piece to fit into, and I got to do this both on the top and the bottom. You'll see me do that here in just a little bit. And now what I'm doing is I'm measuring, and then I'm doing a little bit of calculations to figure out what the circumference is. Now I'm putting back on the top or the rim of the bowl, and again you're going to see me. I'm going to cut the same groove that I did in the bottom in the top. So I measured the total width of what the rim's going to be, and then now this is going to be the width, and now I'm going to part this off, and then I'm going to have a ring, and then that's going to be the top or the rim of the bowl that will sit on top of the metal embellishment ring. Now I have the bottom of the bowl back on the lathe, and we're going to finish. I'm going to finish that up, getting the inside done, sand it up, get it completely finished, and we'll be done with that part. This is a negative rake scraper, and what you use it for is just kind of as a final pass, just kind of smooth everything out. It helps get tool marks out. And again, I'm going to sand from about 100 grit to 600 grit, and I'm not going to show any of that because it's boring. This is sand and sealer I'm going to put on. It's just going to help make a good level surface for the finish. And then I'm going to come in and use Yorkshire grit and finish it out with that. So now I'm just remeasuring, making sure I figured out, make sure I had my calculations correct, and then I'm going to cut the metal rods for the rings for the embellishment ring. So now I have them cut the length. This is a ring bender that I got from Harbor Freight that's actually going to make the circles, and that's going to be the base and the top of the embellishment ring. Now I'm welding the rings together. So now what I'm using magnets to actually hold the stars in place as I tack weld them. And I have lines that are where they need to be. And so now I'm just tacking the bottom of them, then I'll come back and I'll tack the top of them. And then after everything's tacked up, again, kind of like sanding, I'm not going to show a lot of it. It's just grinding, getting it smooth, getting everything where it looks good. I didn't show a lot of the painting process, but basically I painted the white first because that was the rings, and then the stars were red and blue. And then I'd go back and I would paint one, tape the one stars, and then untape them and tape the other until I got it. So I had to go back and finish the top of the rim of the bowl. And basically, what I did is I put my Jacobs chuck in my drive, and I just used some sandpaper. And again, I sanded from 100 to 600. I didn't show a lot of it, and I did finish it with Yorkshire grit. Now, one thing I didn't show because my camera ran out of batteries, I went on Chat GPT and I actually designed a 250 banner for the bowl, and I did put it in the bottom of the bowl. And then now it's just assembly. I used 5-minute epoxy. I did use some white pigment just to kind of give that way it had a little bit of color around in the where the ring was.